So the lovely lady at the front desk is going to go back and check and see who's available. And I'm going to pause it and wait. Recording started. It is not going very well. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. I'm Jack.
So, Jack, how are you? Finally, nice to meet you, Jack.
Yeah, you too.
Now, I would like the county to cease and desist to try to stop taking my mineral rights that I have that are grandfathered in. Okay? First off.
Mineral rights.
Yes, that's right. I'm on the Ep Schuler property. That's what I bought.
Okay.
The old Ep Schuler property. And in my deed, it has the mineral rights. Now, I would like you guys to stop, cease and desist whatever you guys have been doing, because I've complained, I've filed complaints, I've came in several times, and no one does anything for me. Won't come up and investigate, won't come up and nothing, when Debbie Abel and Mr. Belfield are committing fraud. And I believe the county is too. And I'm here to let you know that I know for 100% sure that I have the mineral rights. And if you want to question me and frustrate my attempts at fixing my water so I can move on with my life, go right ahead, because there's going to be legal action. And, so either you can start helping me or you can have some legal action.
How can we help you?
You can get Tom Wenzel fired, first off. Okay?
How else could we help you?
Because bottom line, he said to me right over the phone, and I've told everybody here, when I called to complain about my neighbor building the fence that blocked my easement to my property, to my water, that he couldn't do nothing about it, an illegal fence and blocking the easement. And so I got frustrated, and I told him, well, he's living in an illegal garage. He says, let me put you on hold. Let me check that out. I said, fine. He gets back on the phone. He says, yeah, it's not a dwelling, or it's not a living space. So if it ever burnt down, and left it at that. That's what he said to me, those exact words.
Okay.
Quote.
Okay.
What does that mean? So now I'm in fear that somebody's going to burn my house down. And Mr. Wenzel, which I have on paper, in fact, has had the Skagit County Police Department or Sheriff's Department put me on the watch list, whatever that is. And I've been recently illegally incarcerated by the Skagit County Sheriff's Department. And I believe that Mr. Wenzel has a lot to do with that. And I got proof of that. So I would like his ass fired immediately, because he's committing, it's corruption. There's corruption going on in here. And I'm going to clean it up. Me, personally.
Okay.
It's my life goal now to clean up the corruption in Skagit County, because I've been illegally incarcerated. They didn't even book me. Do you know that? They didn't even book me. They were going to keep me for days, okay, in a solitary confinement cell.
I appreciate you're not happy with that, but I can't do anything about the jail. Or
I'm just letting you know, because of you guys not helping me, it became incarceration because of Mr. Wenzel and the county not helping me.
I'm not sure I see the connection.
Well, the connection is Mr. Wenzel personally went down and talked to the Skagit County Sheriffs. Okay? And I've got that on record. I've got the request, I filed the request, and I got it all, the emails and everything. Okay? And where it states that he talked to him and puts me on a watch list. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I just want what I paid for and what's on my deed.
So how can we help you, though?
How can you help me?
Get right
Stop.
down to the point.
Okay. You can, first off, you can fulfill all the requests that I've made.
Okay.
Instead of thwarting my requests. You can come out and do an on-site investigation on all the properties out on Schuler Road, because they're all involved. Okay? One way or another. And if you don't believe me, I don't care. It'll be in court. It will be proven.
And the underlying issue is water, right?
Of course, because my property value
saying
dropped.
after-
And really, my property value a year after I bought it dropped $60,000. So it's worth less than I paid for it. So even if I wanted to move, I couldn't sell it because I'd be losing money. So would that make sense to you if it was your property?
That would be unfortunate, yeah.
Yes, but what would you do
Not
if it was
sure.
your property?
Not sure.
Well, you're the planning department. You should know. But anyway, so we'll find out through the judicial system.
Okay.
Either that or what I need is my water put back onto my legal description as it was. Because someone called in faulty water reviews under somebody's name that didn't even own the property. And that'd be Michelle Brown. She goes by Michelle Brown, Shelley Belfield, Michelle Belfield, Royal Brown. She goes by AK, right? And and Debbie Abel, she needs to just go to prison because she's committing real estate fraud, insurance fraud, and what other one? Anyway, there's one other real fraud that she's committing. But and I can prove all that. Got it all on paper. And she's filed permits with you guys when you guys know for a fact that their water was the one that washed out in the middle of the creek. Because I brought in the final report and showed you guys. Brought it in, the copy of the final report from an independent geologist. It affects their property, not my property. But all of a sudden, my water disappears and her water reappears. And her property value went down and then doubles in 2 years because she sold it to herself 2 or 3 times and put an LLC in the middle to confuse things. Okay? And mine drops. Hers goes up. Her water was out. My water wasn't out. Hers was. And now she was surface water permit. Now she's claiming a spring. Mine.
So what difficulty do you have? I mean, it sounds like most of your concerns are circling around your legal right to water.
No, my grandfathered in rights to the water.
So
and the minerals, actually. The mineral rights. Because it's an artesian spring. So it makes it mineral rights.
Okay. Do you have an attorney that's working?
They're all idiots, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
And I'm going to take this challenge on all by myself.
Okay.
And
what's the challenge right now? Are you
the challenge is Tom Wenzel. The challenge is Tom Wenzel. He needs to get fired.
Okay. You mentioned
he's a
that.
bad apple.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, and several times I've made people were supposed to come out, and I was going to show them. They never came out. Never, nothing. Several times.
What action are you trying to accomplish? I'm trying to figure out why.
My action is to document this, and I'm going to sue the living shit out of you guys. Okay, that's what my accomplishment is. What I'm trying to accomplish. Okay.
Got it.
Because I've been falsely imprisoned, and it's partially your fault.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned.
Got it.
Okay? Mr. Ex-cop that shot bank robber in the back. So I don't feel too comfortable in my own home when there's a code enforcement guy that I know shot somebody in the back and then telling people to burn people's houses down. Okay? And then there's a bank robber that lives right down the street from me that they're protecting for some reason. And Debbie Abel, who's committed major fraud and is throwing innocent people in jail because of their lies.
So all this is fairly inflammatory statements.
No, they're not.
They are.
I'm sorry, but I have to excuse you. Yeah. But they are true facts.
Okay.
I am not stating anything but true facts.
We deal with permits here. We deal with water. We can help via Department of Ecology, water rights.
I've requested, and nobody does anything for me. I've made several requests.
What are you requesting?
On-site investigation.
On what?
On the properties where my water comes from. Do you want me to show you the pictures of the faultiness?
No, not really.
And the videos?
No.
Because Debbie Abels.
I don't think that would be helpful at this point.
All I want to do, what I want to do is not reestablish, because it's been established. I want to, the tanks are 100 years old.
You want to validate your water rights. Is that what you
Yes.
are wanting to do?
Okay. My mineral rights.
I'm trying to find a path forward
Okay.
here.
Right. And I'm sorry. I'll admit I am upset, but I'm trying to, be
Sure.
as calm as possible. And I'm sorry.
Have you by chance, if you want to legitimize or document water rights, I wonder, would you consider doing we have a review process.
See, so the one thing is I don't want to do is change from the old because it's grandfathered in.
Okay.
And I don't want that changed. Okay? That's what I don't want changed.
But I guess what I'm telling you is there's a way for people to confirm and legitimize their water rights.
I've been asking for several years now, and no one will help me. No one will tell me the answer.
I can tell you right now. I can hand you the application that it would take.
Well, why wasn't it that easy 3 years ago?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Right.
It may be more complicated than I understand, but we have a process.
It is.
For us to review water rights, and we work with Department of Ecology.
See, nobody ever told me any of that.
Determine if something has a legal water right.
Nobody ever told me that.
Okay.
Ever.
Okay.
Till now. I don't know why.
Yeah. I'm happy to print out the water form. It's a water file, water review request.
Well, you're right.
And then our department can work with the college and get that figured out.
The one main thing I'd like to know is there's a Michael Stephen Clemmer is his name. Works for PSE, Puget Sound Energy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's on a $250 million dam seepage project. Okay? Who played as a potential buyer for the neighbor's property down the way to stir things up. Now, Tom Wenzel supplied him with historical photos of the area. I requested those exact historical records photos, and Hal Hart gave me some Google map pictures that insulted my intelligence big time. And that's what those messages were for on Hal Hart's machine. I'm sure you've all heard about my threatening messages at 3 a.m. because I was pissed because he, gave me these Google photos that anybody could get. And I'm an ex-contractor, and, I kind of know how the game goes. And also, he's trying to sanitize my file, or already has, because I had a meeting with him in that room right over there. He was in there for not even 5 minutes. He had 2 files in his hands. Laid them down on the table, opened one up. I saw it. Okay? And then I interrupted him, and he bailed out of the meeting. Didn't even talk with him. And then I asked for the request for the look at the file, and he's on paper. I have it all on paper. Says that I don't have any file on my property, which is ridiculous. It's the oldest house on the whole road. And there's, so if it doesn't have a file at all, then it's been sanitized. Okay? Which I also know the prosecutor got in a little hot water of some island out there that he sanitized the file with. And that's where I'm going to go with this.
Okay.
And so.
All right. Sounds like you have a lot of work ahead of you.
No, I've got the work done.
Yeah.
It's just getting it to the right ears.
Okay. Did you want a water review application? Is that something you want to do? Or,
Well, don't those cost like $500 a piece or something?
I'm not clear
Because
on the cost
every
of those.
property needs a water review.
We do it
Except for
upon customer request.
Okay.
We don't.
Right? No, on
arbitrarily
a
just go out
verbal.
and do them.
On a verbal.
Yeah.
I understand that.
So you would fill out an application and ask us to
Right,
do that
and
for
I
you.
believe I thought I had already have done that, but
Okay, I'm not sure.
right,
I'm
right,
just
right.
asking.
Well, they stole all my paperwork, so
Okay.
they stole the saddlebag off my bike somehow,
Oh,
and somehow knew that I had all the paperwork in it, which is ironic.
okay.
Anyway, so I've got two. Luckily, I've got copies of all of it, but at my attorney's. But it's just I just don't understand I mean, it's been emotional, it's been stressful, and it doesn't have to be this way. I don't know why it has been this way. When it's pretty plain and simple, it's right in my deed. It says it right in my deed, but nobody wants to honor it. And I don't see who's pulling what strings or what strings are being pulled, but I'm going to find out.
Okay.
For sure, 100%.
So
I just want to let you know that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to stop until this
Okay.
is figured out, and the corruption is out of Skagit County.
Okay.
Be it as far as judges, it goes as far as judges possibly.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to get them all. It's my life mission from here on out.
Okay.
So, as an elected official, I don't know, I would potentially want to try to help the person that's doing the right thing instead of harboring the criminals that are committing blatant fraud. Okay? And I've pointed that out to you guys several times, and you guys have done nothing about it. Period. Absolutely nothing. But help them, as far as I'm concerned. So, I don't know if you guys are just as bad as the people that are committing the fraud, or if you guys are actually committing the fraud yourselves too. So, I'll take any request forms you got.
Okay.
A copy of all of them. How's that?
We can get you a
Whatever
water
request forms you got, I want a copy of one. And complaint forms or whatever. I want a copy of each and every one of them.
Okay. Well, there's only one that I can think of given what we're talking about today.
Okay.
If you want to legitimize your water right, I know a way you could.
Well,
pursue that.
I should be able to just look at the microfiche and whatnot, but nobody will. They tell me that's not there when it says right in my deed. It's on microfiche number blah 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 blah. But they won't let me see it.
I'm not clear on
The records won't. They say no. I mean, I can't. I don't know. I'm not a computer. I'm very computer illiterate.
Okay.
Okay. I'm like.
I mean,
I
you could get any record you want. I mean,
Well, not
whether
necessarily.
it's-
Not necessarily. I've already asked for some, and
whether it's
I
the
never got
assessor
them.
Or here, permitting.
I have. I've several requests, and I mean, you should look at them yourself if you have any questions, because I can't remember them all.
Okay.
They're pretty detailed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm generally familiar that you've put in public records requests with our department. I've seen them kind of come through. But for me, I'm like a solution-oriented kind of guy. So I'm always looking for, okay, what's the path forward? If we can boil it down to something is there something I can help you with? And so far, I found at least maybe one thing.
Okay, well, that's
I know
great.
that.
Because I mean, I don't know what your job description is, so I mean,
I'm the building official. That's my official title. So I'm involved in permitting and fire marshal stuff, code compliance stuff. Stormwater stuff.
Mr. Belfield behind me. I mean, I'd like to know who passed all his permits and Debbie Abel's, because they're blatantly not even close to what the permit says.
Yeah.
Who's responsible for that? I mean, code enforcement? Is that who does the final inspection? Who does the final inspections?
No, the building inspectors do. Yeah, building inspectors.
Well, I mean, and there's several of those. I take it.
You're probably. I mean.
And I know some have retired also and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, you're. I mean, I assume you're probably well aware that a lot of people they'll do their project, and once we sign off and our building inspector goes out,
they just do whatever, right?
Once we leave.
Right,
we don't have any control over what they do. We don't go back.
I
And
understand that. I understand that.
So do I believe that happens a lot? Yeah.
Well, especially in Skagit.
I bet it does.
Right.
I've seen it.
But not on my end.
Sure. No, I'm not claiming any of that.
But Debbie Abel is claiming I am. And so is Mr. Belfield claiming I am. And
Gotcha.
And I also need you deal with easements, right?
We actually don't. I mean, we review if someone say someone comes in for a permit and they say, I have an easement over here, or say we could find one, but that's not guaranteed,
right?
Because we don't really do easements.
Well, who does?
Title companies do easements.
Okay.
They can do
I talked to
background
them.
checks on
Okay.
title on
Okay.
and find easements.
Right.
The other place where that kind of has to do with easements is the auditor, because they record
Okay.
easements.
Right.
So if you're able to find an easement auditor file number,
And
obviously you can go and look
And
at
I've got all that. I did go to the auditors,
Okay, okay,
and I've
good.
got all that.
All right.
And
But we don't like enforce
so
easements. Though. We can't.
no, right, and
Those
neither,
are-
and neither
those are-
does the police, because
yeah,
it's
they're-
a civil matter,
they're
right?
private civil issues.
Right, right. So just recently, just a day before yesterday, it's in my deed, you know, that I have the right to clear debris and whatnot
Okay.
out of the way of the easement,
Yeah.
obviously. Well, this
Yeah.
gentleman planted trees in the middle of the easement, and
Okay.
I was just taking the trees out. It's supposed to be a common shared driveway.
Gotcha.
Okay, so he put the common shared driveway in another spot. So
Yeah.
I need to know if I get to use that common shared driveway where he put it,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm losing
Yeah. Yeah.
all the way around, and that's if I can. And like I said, I've done so much. I've got stacks and stacks of paperwork, and I'm about at my wit's end with all this.
Okay.
So you just bear with me.
No worries. So this is the water review application. So if you want to go through and try to get your water officially recognized and legitimized and all of that,
Well-
this is how one would do that.
Right. Okay. So now, what if somebody filled one of these out fraudulently?
We'd have to look at that. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
are they
I
trying to
need you. I need you to look at that. I've
Are
actually
they trying
brought.
to misrepresent so
well,
they can develop their
well,
property?
If I can finish here.
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So they both are claiming their property's worth $150,000 each, when it's not, it's not even worth that. Anyway, so I don't know if that's because they were getting loans on it or what, but which I'm sure they were. But the Belfield and Debbie Abel water reviews need to be looked at really hard.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And if there's any questions, come on out and I'll show you everything, because
Yeah.
I know everything up there now.
Okay.
There are lines, there's water, just thousands of gallons a day just being wasted down into his overflow pond on his property that he doesn't supposed to have, because he's got a well. So his well isn't even working right now. He drilled it in 2007. So whose water has been using for 20 years? I don't know. Gee, I wonder. And then the Johnsons, everybody knows, and there's two workers here that went to school with Richard Johnson that know, physically, personally know that their water was the one that washed out. Not mine, not a spring,
Okay.
surface water. Mine is a artesian spring. Theirs is surface water. And that surface water extraction point, that illegal, was put in months right after the final, actually the final report was done. So they did a report, the Johnsons thought it was all done, put in the illegal extraction point, and then the final report was done, and it shows the barrel and all that, and the pipe, my pipe that they ripped out and threw upstream, because it's supposed to wash downstream. I've got pictures of it upstream. Okay? Anyway, and I am just been desperately trying to prove my innocence, because they're trying to criminalize me, have me thrown in jail, and all kinds of good stuff.
Okay.
And it's really uncomfortable, shall I say.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
Very and expensive.
Okay. Well, we can do a water review for you, certainly.
Okay, now
If you'd like.
I'm going to ask that these costs be exempted because of the water reviews that were filed fraudulently by the Belfields and the Abels.
But that won't have any bearing on your water review.
Okay, well, we'll see.
And
We'll see.
We're not allowed to.
I shouldn't even have to fill out one of these
You don't
because
have
my
to.
water shouldn't have never been messed with.
I'm not saying you have to.
I'm sorry. I'm not
This is
neither.
if you feel like it. That's all.
No,
I'm
no,
saying.
I understand that.
Giving you an option.
And I really shouldn't have to.
Okay.
I should have never had to.
Sure.
Because someone should have never messed with my water.
Okay.
So I believe the people that messed my water up
Yeah.
should be paying for it.
Well, I bet if you got an attorney, you could probably work.
I have
toward
an
that
attorney,
end.
but like I said, they're about as sharp as a marble. Okay.
Got it.
And with the confusion
Yeah.
that you guys, Department of Ecology, have inflicted on this whole situation, it is a huge situation, because I know the county wants to put a tank up there and charge everybody for water. Because, for example, who put the Marble Mount tank in?
I don't know, and
Okay,
I've not heard of anyone
who put
wanting
the
to put a
concrete
tank
tank
up here.
in then?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know what those tanks run off of? Springs. Okay. What is mine? A spring. Who put those tanks in? Tim Ropeman, the water god, who has now passed away, unfortunately, who owns the property where I get my water from, who is Vicky Ropeman, now Vicky Frank, who married Richard Frank. So, on that note, I would like some help doing what I need to do when I need the help, when I ask for it, not being thwarted, not being
Okay.
denied access to records.
No, we can help you, but you would have to fill this out.
And my personal file. There's a personal file on my property. I want to see it. And Tom Wenzel says there isn't one.
A personal file.
The file on my property, yes.
If there is one, we would
There's a
give you
file on
copies.
every property if there's a house on it, a dwelling.
You mean like assessor's
Where
records?
they build it, the permits, it's the file.
Well,
I'm a contractor. I mean, you don't think I go down and look at people's files so I can determine what work to perform and hasn't been performed?
It's mostly electronic these days. I mean, most
Well,
of
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
electronic or not. They say it doesn't exist when I know it does. He brought it into that office right over there, Mr. Wenzel. I have three other witnesses besides myself that saw it. Okay? I personally saw it when he opened the file.
Do you think, are you referring to a code compliance file or an investigation file, or?
I'm talking about all of them.
We don't have any, like, master file with all
What
property
files
records.
did he bring in there, that room then?
I have no idea.
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
There is a file on every place.
You would think I would know about it.
Yes.
I've worked here a long time.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
well,
but I don't
right.
know about that.
Okay, well, I think you do.
as
So,
best I know,
so
we have-
we'll find out.
Okay.
Okay. So,
All right.
and I know for a fact. I mean, I've been a contractor for 20 some odd years,
Okay.
and yeah. So
Okay. Well,
anyway,
I'm not
so
sure about that.
I thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you for listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get things worked out in the future.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
That sounds good.
Great.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
Yes, thank you for your time.
Some of that. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so outside the building here, and hopefully that will explain all kinds of things. Anyway, I'll turn the video off now. I gotta go get something to drink. I am so just nervous. I have dry mouth. Anyway, this whole thing's just been very upsetting and disturbing.